everybody, it's the coach. This is Thursday Night Football on EA Sports. Coming up, we'll see the 15-year veteran Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers as they take on the third-year man Mitchell Trubisky and the NFC North champion Chicago Bears.
What's up, guys? My name's The Sweaty Casual, and welcome back to the channel. Tonight's going to be a little bit different. I told you guys I was thinking about doing football-related stuff during the regular season, and I'm starting it. I'm doing it. I hope you're ready. What I'm doing is every Thursday, I plan on doing predictions and having the video done before the game goes live on TV. That's the plan. We'll see how it goes. I do have a day job, don't forget. In addition to that, I will be playing a game of Madden as the Thursday night teams on that game for that video, for the predictions. What I plan on doing is a recap video of all the week's games, as far as like highlights, statistics, whatever, the outcome, and to see how well I did on my picks. I plan on doing those videos usually on Tuesday, considering most of the games are just going to be over by Monday. You know, holidays and stuff like that will be different, and I will plan accordingly to that. But guys, NFL is back. 2019 season. First game of the season is my team, the Packers. I don't own them. They're just my favorite team. Get over it. Playing the Bears in Soldier Field. Can't wait. New head coach in Matt LaFleur. Hopefully a different offense, something that's not stale, something that's exciting, something that will use everybody's skill sets as far as the players that we got. The Bears are not an easy team to beat. They got a really good defense. I expect this game to be like any other Packers-Bears game. It's going to be a slugfest. I don't expect it to be necessarily high scoring, but if it is, it's going to be close. I don't expect it to be much, no more than like a 3, 7, or 10-point difference total. And even then, I don't think it's going to be decided right away. It might come down to the wire, guys. So first off, yeah, I'm going to pick the Packers to win. It's my team. How can I go against them? Just some news that I can throw in here. I'm not a football analyst, so don't get on my shit if I don't have all the stats and all the information ready. This is me making predictions, spur of the moment, gut reactions, and providing some news as to maybe why I might pick one team or the other. So I'm going to get into it. Again, I'm picking the Packers to beat the Bears tonight. Packers would love to have their preferred cornerback duo of Alexander and Kevin King for every snap, but King missed more than a month of training camp and all 4 preseason games because of a hamstring injury. So they're going to have to see how much he can handle. They're very optimistic that he'll play. Jimmy Graham was the other question because late in training camp he was practicing with 2 of his fingers taped together on his right hand. Graham isn't really concerned. LaFleur is not concerned. So we'll see how that pans out. The notable inactives that I know for the Packers are Oren Burks and Darius Shepard. I can't remember. I thought Jace Sternberger might be questionable and somebody else, but I don't know for sure. Trey Burton for the Bears might be questionable, so not entirely sure when it comes to that. Let me see if I can pull some information up here. Yeah, it's Trey Burton with a groin strain as a game-time decision. Apparently he practiced all week on a limited basis. Apparently he says he feels like it's getting slightly better, so I mean, it's... Other than that, I don't see anything else for the Bears, guys. Next game, Rams and Panthers. The Rams are going to Carolina. I picked the Rams, and let me see if I can pull up some news for that. Apparently they're pretty fresh and healthy. He didn't play starters or key reserves throughout the preseason. So they're pretty much good to go, guys. As far as I can tell, I believe, from what I saw with Carolina, again, don't quote me on this, from last I heard, and again, I'm doing these on the Thursday, before the weekend. So, outside linebacker Bruce Irvin, signed as a free agent to help the Panthers transition to a 3-4 front, has missed the last week of practice with a hamstring injury. If he is unable to go, first-round pick Brian Burns would be elevated to a starter. He declined to talk about his injury, but he didn't appear too concerned, so we'll have to see. There might be more news on that over the weekend. As far as I heard, Cam Newton is going to play. I'm still picking the Rams. There's a lot of talent on that team, and I'm not entirely sold on Carolina's offense as a whole just yet. But again, I haven't watched every preseason game. I haven't watched any practice tape from all these teams. So this is a gut reaction on my part. Next, I'm going to go into the Eagles and Redskins game. The Eagles are at home against the Redskins. Let me pull up news for that. Wide receiver Deshaun Jackson has been wearing extra protection around his broken left ring finger during practice this week, but he is on target to play against the Redskins. Injury is on his non-dominant hand, so it should help making the help make catching the football a bit easier. Fletcher Cox and Brandon Brooks also intend to play. Redskins, Jordan Reed remains in the concussion protocol, but he was able to participate in meetings as well as individual workout. First time he's done so since he suffered it in the third preseason game. They're optimistic that he will play against the Eagles on Sunday. I don't see anything else for that. The Bills and Jets. The Buffalo Bills are traveling to play against the New York Jets in Jets territory. Let me see what I can find out for that. I'm going to butcher this name, I know it. Ty Nsekhe, knee and guard Quentin Spain ankle, hold up against an aggressive Jets defense. Not sure. I guess they're playing. Apparently they were practicing in full after missing time at the end of the preseason, but their healed injuries will be put to the test against what should be an attacking defensive front seven. Let me see what I can find on the Jets. The Zoom Jets. Where is they? Never be healthier than they are right now, so apparently they're pretty healthy right now. Tremaine Johnson, who missed most of the preseason with a hamstring injury, is practicing and expected to play. His conditioning is in question because he missed 4 weeks, but that's one of those up in the air kind of things. Robbie Anderson, who tweaked a calf muscle last week, should be ready to go as well. I am picking the Jets to win that game. The Falcons and the Vikings. Falcons are going into Minnesota to play the Vikings. And the only injury to pop up for the Falcons was that of tackle Matt Gono, who was limited Wednesday with a back injury. He's supposed to be competing with rookie Caleb McGarry for the starting role, with veteran Ty Sombrello, the other tackle option the Falcons have considered. The Falcons like Gono, but putting him out there with a bad back for his first NFL start probably wouldn't be wise against Daniil Hunter and the Vikings' strong pass rush. McGarry still has to get his conditioning after missing several weeks following a heart procedure. In addition to that, let me skip over to the other side. Stephon Diggs missed Wednesday's practice with a hamstring injury after making it through 6 weeks of the preseason without missing a beat. It could be that the Vikings want to exercise precaution with Diggs by holding him out, but the amount of work he gets on Thursday and Friday will be important in determining his availability. So guys, I'm picking the Falcons to win this, and it's just because again, it's a gut reaction. I feel like a lot of teams are a little bit rusty coming out of the preseason and going into the regular season, so I could be wrong. Again, gut reaction just off of, how I feel. In addition to that, Linval Joseph and Brian O'Neill were full participants after missing a majority of the preseason as well. Next up is the Ravens playing the Dolphins. This is in Miami, by the way. I haven't heard any news as far as that, so let me check that out here. Cornerback Brandon Carr, he's the only player listed on the injury report. Other than that, everybody's practiced. Apparently he has a hip injury, which was limited, but there isn't much concern. And to jump to the other side, running back Kenyon Drake missed 2 weeks of practice with a right foot injury that had him in a walking boot. Brian Flores, head coach, said that he's physically and mentally ready for week 1. He participated in practice Wednesday and looked good in drills. So, other than that, nobody else is listed on that, but I do have the Ravens winning. I think they are a better team. I honestly think Miami will be one of the worst teams this year. Again, it's hard to tell. they don't really have a stable quarterback situation right now unless they decide to go on with Rosen instead of Fitzpatrick. So who knows? After that, I have the Chiefs going into Jacksonville. Guys, I got the Chiefs winning that. Mahomes is probably one of the better quarterbacks in the league right now as far as overall talent goes. And the fact that he's way younger than a lot of the other high-caliber starting quarterbacks. Who knows? It could have been a one-year fluke, but if he can keep playing like he did last year, they should have this in the bag. Let me see if I can find any news out on that as well. Chiefs apparently have everybody available to them on Sunday. The only one to watch was Tyrann Mathieu. He hurt his shoulder in an early preseason game and played only a handful of snaps during the preseason. He's supposed to start Sunday, though, so who knows. Jacksonville. Quarterback Nick Foles is dealing with soreness in his oblique, but the team expects him to play on Sunday. He did not get injured in his only preseason action. It was related to the amount of throwing he has done in camp. Okay. Yeah, anywho, I'm picking the Chiefs to win that, guys. Next up, we have the Browns hosting the Titans. Guys, I'm really excited for the Browns this season. They got Baker Mayfield, who's the first decent franchise quarterback that they've had in quite some time. I believe he is a quarterback to be excited for and about, especially with the Browns. They have Jarvis Landry, Myles Garrett, Nick Chubb. They got Kareem Hunt. I mean, despite his off-the-field issues, he's still a good football player. They got Odell Beckham Jr. Let's be honest. They got some talent. And I don't know if they're going to win their division, but I think they are going to be a good bit more improved than they were last season. Honestly, the only thing that I'm worried about for that team is their offensive line. But again, I do have them beating the Titans. And let me just see if there was any other additional information to mention. Junior didn't play in the preseason while battling a nagging hip injury, but apparently last week he returned to full practice activities. Head coach Freddie Kitchens said he should be ready to go over the weekend. And on to the Titans information. Right tackle Jack Conklin was listed on the injury report after not practicing Wednesday, recovering from a knee injury that landed him on IR last season and required a medical procedure during the offseason. I honestly did not know that, again, because I didn't get all the news from everything. So these are not really deciding how I choose who I think is going to win. This is all gut reactions, and I'm just kind of actually reading this after I've made my picks. One of the next ones, the Chargers and the Colts. Guys, Colts, big news during the offseason. Andrew Luck, after his injury-riddled career, he retires. The Colts franchise opted to let him have his guaranteed money, not ask for any of the payback, and he retired, and that was it. He had a crazy amount of injuries. As far as I can tell, they extended Jacoby Brissett, and he's going to be the starter week 1. However, I am picking the Chargers to win that game, guys. The Chargers are the home team, and I don't know if there's any other additional information. Let me take a look. Colts are the healthiest they've been at any point going back to the start of training camp. Jamal Sheard is the only significant player on the team's injury report, and he's been out since early in training camp. He will not play against the Chargers. And if we want to swap over to the other side, Derwin James is on IR this week after he recently had surgery to repair a stress fracture in his right foot. I honestly did not know that. I still think the Chargers are going to win, though. Apparently he's expected to be out till at least November. Adrian Phillips will start at strong safety with James out. And that's all I see on that one. Moving on, the Seahawks will host the Bengals. I'm picking Seattle to win that game. They're at home. They're one of the better home teams in the league. Rookie receiver DK Metcalf practiced Monday and Wednesday, but there's no definitive word on whether he'll play Sunday. It's probably going to be a game-time decision unless we hear more closer to the weekend. Dave Moore's still out apparently as well. That's the only things that I'm seeing for Seattle, guys. Let me hop over to Cincinnati. Bengals starting left tackle Cordy Glenn still is dealing with concussion-like symptoms. Doesn't bode well for the opener at Seattle. If he's out, his backup Andre Smith will have to contend with a revamped Seahawks defense. Guys, they just got Jadeveon Clowney, and I can't remember if it was a trade, to be honest. I know it happened within the past few days, past week or so. Oh, and I forgot, they got Ziggy Ansah as well. So even with that, like I'm still taking Seattle to win, guys. Moving on, Niners and Buccaneers. This one, I honestly could see this game going either way, but I'm picking the Niners to win. In all honesty, I could see it going either way because I haven't followed much of either team. I don't know much as far as injury report and stuff like that. I mean, I'll take a look now, but I'm still picking the Niners to win even before I read this to you. Nick Bosa has returned to practice Monday for the first time since he suffered an ankle sprain on August 6th. Afterward, he sounded like a man determined to play on Sunday in Tampa. And let me see if I can hop over to the Bucs side of things. Defensive tackle Vita Vea returned to practice this week for the first time in a month after suffering a sprained collateral ligament in his left knee. Try and say that 12 times fast. They did bring in Ndamukong Suh. Well, that's all for news for that, really. Again, I'm taking the Niners, guys. Again, I really could see it going one way or the other. Next up, and that is in Tampa Bay, by the way, I'm sorry. Next up is the Giants against the Cowboys. Cowboys just re-signed Zeke to an extension. The Giants also have a really good running back in Saquon Barkley. Again, I can see this game going one way or the other, guys. I really can. I picked the Cowboys to win this. It's at home. I think as a team, the overall talent factor goes to Dallas. Giants got some good players. Saquon Barkley's a beast, but I got to give it to Dallas. I think they got more talent on that team, all across the team. Let me see if there was anything listed as far as news goes. Amari Cooper went through a full practice for the first time since injuring his heel in the first week of August and expects to be full go. Zach Martin was limited for most of his time in training camp because of back injury, but the expectation is that he will play against the Giants. In addition to that, let's hop over to the Giants and see what news is listed there. They're relatively healthy with right tackle Mike Remmers' illness/back, the only starter in jeopardy for Sunday against the Cowboys. That's all that's listed. Again, I'm going with the Cowboys. I hate saying it. I'm going with the Cowboys. Next up is the Detroit Lions heading to Arizona. Guys, I picked Detroit. I think that team's going to be different this year. I'm not going to say that they're going to be a playoff team, but I think they will be a little bit better team than they were last year. Their number one draft pick, TJ Hawkinson. I'm trying to remember who else they got in free agency and stuff. I know they picked up Mike Daniels, and he was one of my favorites from my team, the Packers, on the D-line. As far as news goes, they didn't have anybody completely sit out of Wednesday's practice. Gerard Davis has an ankle, ankle. Yeah, of course he's got an ankle. He's got two. Most people do. He has an ankle injury, apparently. Defensive end Deshaun Hand, elbow injury, and cornerback Rayshawn Melvin had a knee injury. And all did very little individual drills during practice on Tuesday and Wednesday. The status of those three key defensive players is going to be a major question. They will rely more on Mike Daniels and Romeo Okwara if Hand can't play, and it will likely look to Jalen Reeves, Maben, and perhaps Jelani Tavai if Davis can't go. Let me see what Arizona has up for news. They had Kyler Murray starting as far as I know, and he looked really good in the few preseason games that I watched. He looked very good. He was quick, he was accurate, he could make most of the throws that I saw. I didn't see too many as far as deep throws, but he looked good. Their Cardinals linebacker Hassan Reddick has been slowly returning over the past week from the arthroscopic knee surgery he had in July. Apparently he's going to be playing Sunday. That's what head coach Cliff Kingsbury says. So we'll have to see, but I am taking the Lions to win that game. Moving on is the Sunday night game, the first Sunday night game of the 2019 season. Guys, it's the Patriots and the Steelers. This game should be close. Should be. Okay, don't quote me, but it should be a close game. Okay. Patriots are gonna have their sixth Super Bowl win, raising of the banner, Tom Brady, against Big Ben and the Steelers. As much as I hate to say it, I honestly think the Patriots are going to win. I don't think it's going to be a blowout or anything. I think it's going to be close, but I do have the Patriots winning. Wide receiver Demaryius Thomas has been limited in practice with a hamstring injury, and top tight end Matt LaCosse has an ankle injury, and he's also hasn't been practicing in full. Josh Gordon's still working himself into top playing condition. Thomas projects to assume some of the receiver load if healthy, and Edelman and Gordon are the top receivers, with Philip Dorsett also likely to play a notable role. Then it is Thomas and undrafted free agents Jacoby Myers and Gunnar Olszewski. So, other than that, they sound pretty healthy. I expect them to win. Again, I hate saying it. Steelers news, safety Sean Davis has an ankle injury. He's the lone player on the Steelers injury report Wednesday. He's eyeing a week 1 return, but must show significant progress during today and Friday practices to have a chance. Again, I'm looking at the news that I've got right here in front of me, and I made my picks before I looked at this, so I'm going to stand by my picks, whether I'm right or wrong. Anyway, getting Sean Davis back will help keep safety mates Terrell Edmonds and Cameron Kelly fresh. I honestly don't know Cameron Kelly, so it'll be interesting to see. I know I'm going to be watching a lot of these games, if not all of these games. But yeah, I got the Patriots winning that game. Moving on, the Saints will host the Texans for the first Monday night game of the season. I'm taking the Saints to win that. They're at home for one. You took an already good Saints team from last season, and then you gave him Jared Cook, who's probably one of the top 10 tight ends in the league this year, or in the league last year. He's like the number 1 target for the Raiders, and the Raiders were a dumpster fire. You put him with Drew Brees, you got Alvin Kamara, you got Michael Thomas, what's his name? Traquan Smith, I think? You put all of them together, and the Saints are going to be dangerous. Let me see what the news says. Saints don't have to issue their first practice report until Thursday, given that they played Monday night. He expects linebacker Alex Anzalone to play. Seems likely that tight end Jared Cook will too. Since they kept only 2 tight ends on the roster, the only player that we know for sure is out is defensive tackle Sheldon Rankins, and that will be a problem area since his top backup David Onyemata is serving a 1-game suspension. So they might have a little bit issue. They might have a few issues, but nothing crazy. I still expect them to win. And they're playing the Texans. Deshaun Watson's a good quarterback as well. And they got one of the best receivers in the league, DeAndre Hopkins. Let's not forget that. He's really good. And where are you on the list of information? There. Houston. He's not hopeful that receiver Kiki QT will play Monday against the Saints. That's Bill O'Brien, by the way, head coach. He injured his ankle in the preseason opener and missed most of training camp, but he is trending in the right direction. If he doesn't play, DeAndre Carter or Kenny Stills could see more time in this slot. When did Kenny Stills go to the Texans? That shows you how much I pay attention to some of the news in the offseason. He was with the Dolphins, now he's with the Texans. Okay, interesting. If the Texans were at home, I could see them potentially upsetting the Saints, but as of right now, it's in Saints territory. I still think that team is stacked talent-wise. I'm picking the Saints to win. The final game of Week 1 is the Raiders hosting the Broncos. Guys, I can see this one going one way or the other as well, to be honest. Now, I had made this pick before I heard this. I picked the Raiders to win simply because they're at home, and the Broncos have... I'm not sold on them being a great team yet. I mean, they got Joe Flacco, who was an upgrade from last season, but I don't know how to act. I really don't. And again, this was right. I had made this pick already, and then I found out that Antonio Brown potentially. I don't know if he's going to get suspended per se, but I know he's going to get fined. I don't know if they're going to suspend him for a game or anything like that from conduct or whatever. But I made the pick before I even heard the news. And again, I really could see it going one way or the other, but I did pick the Raiders to win. Let me check out some of the news to give you guys some information. For the Raiders, offensive lineman Denzel Good was expected to miss the first 2 months of the season after undergoing off-season back surgery. Instead, he is in line to start at right guard for the injured Gabe Jackson on Monday night's season opener, so long as his back cooperates. He's doing great. Apparently, He's doing great, Raiders coach John Gruden said this week of Good, who did not play a snap in the preseason. It'll be a fun game. When you watch Denver play in the preseason, you don't see some of the players very much. When you watch our preseason tape, they probably aren't going to see some of the guys that are going to play against them very much, so it'll be really fun. Let me swap over to the other side, see if there's any specific news on Denver. Linebacker Todd Davis has not practiced since the first week of training camp when he suffered a calf injury. He was on the practice field Wednesday, and he participated in only some brief stretching and did not take part in individual or team drills. Head coach Vic Fangio said after practice that Davis was still questionable. He's been the team's 3-down linebacker in off-season workouts. A guy who went from the base defense and stayed on the line when they went to the nickel or dime look, but in his absence, rookie Justin Hollins, Alexander Johnson, and Josie Jewell have all been used inside in practices. The Broncos figure to be in the nickel the majority of the time on Monday if the Raiders give Denver a heavy dose of 3 receiver sets. For the nickel linebacker to be Davis, he will have to improve significantly before the week is out. Once he's on the field, he has some ground to make up since he hasn't practiced with the defense since July. That's most of it, guys. Again, I'm picking the Raiders to win simply because they're at home. All of this information in my picks, I'm not trying to inform anybody or tell anybody what they should do or who they should pick if you're making picks or anything like that. This is me just as a hobby. I love football. I love hockey. I love college football as well. I'm getting into baseball. I'm getting into basketball. But again, I'm not a pro analyst for any of these sports. This is me just making gut reaction picks to most of these games. Whether or not it's a team that I like and I would like to see win, or who I think's going to win, anything like that. I'm not going crazy in depth into the analysis as to why or anything like that. That's not what my channel is going to be. This is me doing it as a hobby because I like the sport. Again, guys, this is going to be. I'm gonna try my best to make this a weekly thing. I try to watch bits and pieces of every game. I really enjoy the sport as a whole. Again, my team is the Packers, but I like a lot of players. I like Khalil Mack for the Bears. I like. Let me see here. I don't have a problem with Carson Wentz. I do like him. I like Jamal Adams for the Jets. I like Julio Jones and Matt Ryan for the Falcons. I like Adam Thielen for the Vikings. He's probably one of my favorite receivers. Ravens-wise, I like Mark Ingram, and I do like Earl Thomas. Trace McSorley was a quarterback for Penn State, and he's still on the team after preseason. They didn't cut him. I do like him. He's obviously probably not going to play unless Jackson gets hurt, but I do like him. On the Dolphins, I like Mike Gesicki. He was a Penn State tight end, and I've got a soft spot for Penn State players that get drafted to NFL teams, and they're still on the teams. Chiefs, I do like Patrick Mahomes. Tyreek Hill is dangerous. He's good. Travis Kelce's dangerous. He's good. He's probably the best tight end in the league right now. For the Jags, I'm not really big into Jalen Ramsey's personality. I don't hate the guy, but I don't love the guy either, but you can't deny he's a good football player. You look at the Titans, I like Derrick Henry. I like Derrick Henry a lot, and Delaney Walker. Probably my favorite players on that team. On the Browns, I do like OBJ. I do like Jarvis Landry. I do like Baker Mayfield, especially to see him bring so much hope to that franchise, and they haven't they haven't been a great team or a decent team in quite a long time. And I'm not shitting on them or anything. It's just you look at the statistics, you look at the records. They haven't had winning records for I don't even know. But they do look like they're poised to be a good team this year. For the Colts, I loved Andrew Luck. I thought he was one of the most humblest players out there on the field. I really liked him, and I'm sad to see him retire. I understand it. I get it. He was hurt. He goes through rehab, then injury, rehab, then injury. He was out a whole season and a half or so. And then to come back and take the Colts to the playoffs again. Like, he took them to the playoffs 4 years that he was a starting quarterback. And you got to remember, he was out a season and a half or so. And, to do that with a team that didn't really have a whole lot of talent on it, that says something. And Darius Leonard looked really good. T.Y. Hilton, he's one of my favorite players on that team as well. Chargers, I love the fact that Phillip Rivers does not swear. It's funny to me. But you can't deny he's good. Casey Hayward, he was one of the Packers players that had gotten traded there in the offseason 3 seasons ago, I believe, 3 or 4 seasons. The Bengals, I liked Tyler Eifert. If he could stay healthy, I'd like him more. AJ Green, you got to give it to him. Gio Bernard, good players as well. Seahawks, I like Russell Wilson. I do like the newly acquired Jadeveon Clowney. I remember for a while people were like, oh, he's a bust. And then he kept getting healthier, and playing better and better. The Niners, I like George Kittle. He emerged as one of the league's best tight ends last season, and I hope he continues to go that way. The Buccaneers, I like Chris Godwin, Penn State receiver. He's been on the team for 3 or 4 years now, I believe. Again, don't quote me on some of this stuff, guys. It's memory-based. But I do like him a lot. Giants, I love Saquon Barkley. Penn State running back. He played just as good in college as he did with the Giants their first season, or his first season with them. Cowboys, Randall Cobb, one of my favorite Packers players, had just gotten signed there in the offseason. I'm really excited to see him help out Dak Prescott. I don't want to see the Cowboys get too good because I don't want them to compete with us, but I do wish the world of Randall Cobb. I hope he does well with them. The Lions, the only one I'm really rooting for is Mike Daniels. I mean, they got good players. Matthew Stafford's not bad. Galladay's pretty good. Darius Slay. But my favorite player for them right now is Mike Daniels because he came from us. Cardinals, I'm really hoping for Kyler Murray to do really well. Terrell Suggs, Patrick Peterson. Steelers, I love Juju Smith-Schuster. Trying to think. James Conner looked really good last season as well. Patriots, guys, I don't like the Patriots. I really don't. I like Stephon Gilmore for them and Julian Edelman. Those are my favorite players from them. Texans, I love Deshaun Watson and DeAndre Hopkins. Saints, I love Drew Brees. I think he's one of the better quarterbacks in the league, given how short he is compared to most of the other starting quarterbacks in the league. The Broncos, Von Miller, you got to give it to him. Chris Harris, Emmanuel Sanders. Those are probably my favorite players for them too. For the Raiders, I like Derek Carr. And that's about it right now, guys. I mean, Antonio Brown's really good. Can't say he's my favorite player, though, but he is really good. I just wish his personality was a little bit better. He wasn't such a diva. But that's my opinion. Say what you want. That's everything, guys. Like I said, I plan on doing this week in, week out. I hope you stay tuned. I hope you get some enjoyment out of it. As always, stay sweaty, stay casual.